This could be a chaotic slate. Minnesota is playing the second half of a back-to-back, and most of that roster is on the injury report already. We also have tons of Washington players out, while Charlotte and Houston are far from healthy.
It's tough to gauge who will suit up right now, but we'll try our best. With that in mind, let's dive into this short slate. Core plays Luka Doncic, PG. DAL, $12,500 DraftKings, $12,700 FanDuel. Doncic is the best player in DFS, and it's not close. The Slovenian point guard leads the league with 66 DraftKings points per game while establishing a 50-point floor.
He's averaging over 70 fantasy points per game since the All-Star break and should have success against San Antonio. The Spurs are surrendering the most fantasy points to opposing point guards, with Doncic averaging 33 points, 11.
3 rebounds, 9.3 assists, and 1.7 steals in their 3 matchups this year. Victor Wembanyama, PF, C, SAS, $10,600 DraftKings, $11,400 FanDuel. Wembanyama has scored at least 40 DraftKings points in 13 straight games, posting a 61-point average in that span. That directly correlates with his minute restriction being lifted, and he should destroy Dallas.
The Mavs rank 21st in defensive efficiency, with Wemby scoring 53 fantasy points in their most recent matchup. Anthony Edwards, SG, SF. Min, $9,800 DraftKings, $10,200 FanDuel. This man had the dunk of the season on Monday night and continues to thrive for this short-handed roster.
Minnesota could be without Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, and Naz Reid, leaving Ant to do everything. He's been doing that no matter who's out there, scoring at least 52 DraftKings points in 5 of his last 6 outings.
Facing Denver is no easy task, but you know Edwards will be motivated since these teams are playing for the best record in the Western Conference. Cash game considerations: Nikola Jokic, C. Den, $12,100 DraftKings, $11,900 FanDuel. The Joker isn't quite as dominant as Doncic, but being the second best player is nothing to be ashamed of. The 2-time MVP averages 60 DraftKings points per game for the 4th straight year while showcasing a 50-point floor.
There's no safer option out there than Joker, and you know he'll be motivated in a matchup with Minnesota. He's got at least 62 fantasy points in 5 of his last 8 matchups with the Wolves.
Paolo Banchero, SF, PF, ORL, $9,000 DraftKings, $9,000 FanDuel. Paolo was the top pick in last year's draft, and he's starting to look like one of the best players in the NBA. Orlando's best player is averaging 42 DK points per game this season and has a 46-point average over the last 2 months.
He's taken his game to another level, and that level should kill the Hornets. Not only does Charlotte rank 29th in total defense, but they're also surrendering the most fantasy points to opposing forwards. Fred VanVleet, PG, How, $8,600 DraftKings, $8,600 FanDuel. This former All-Star has scored at least 38 DraftKings points in 9 straight games, generating a 46-point average in that span.
That's what we're looking for from a sub-$9,000 player, especially since Washington ranks last in points allowed and defensive efficiency. That's clear when you see that VanVleet has a 53-point average against them in their last 3 meetings. GPP targets Michael Porter Jr.
SF, Den, $6,700 DraftKings, $7,000 FanDuel. MPJ is a volatile option with his outside shooting, but he's hit his stride in the second half. The Nuggets forward has scored at least 32 DraftKings points in 9 of his last 13 outings, totaling a 36-point average in that span.
Those 31 DK points match his season average, and we don't mind that MPJ provided 41 and 31 DK points in his final 2 matchups with the Timberwolves last year. Amen Thompson, SG, SF. Who? $5,900 DraftKings, $7,800 FanDuel. It's hard to avoid Amen on DraftKings.
The rookie guard has stepped into the starting lineup since Sengun went down, scoring 30 and 47 DK points in his 2 most recent outings. We also saw Thompson flirt with a 40-point average in a starting role a month ago, and he could have his way with a Washington defense that ranks last in nearly every defensive metric.
Wendell Carter, CORL, $5,600 DraftKings, $5,900 FanDuel. Carter isn't going to put up many massive stat lines, but he's way too good to be sitting below $6,000 on both sites. The starting center has scored at least 30 DraftKings points in 3 of his last 4 games, posting a 29-point average across his last 11 outings.
We love that since he's finally creeping back to 30 minutes a night, and he should keep that going since Charlotte surrenders the 5th most fantasy points to opposing centers. Value plays Trey Jones, PG, SAS, $5,600 DraftKings, $6,000 FanDuel. We've had Jones in this section as much as anyone this season, and it's hard to understand why he remains so cheap.
The Spurs starting point guard has averaged 32 DraftKings points per game since the promotion while establishing a 25-point floor. He's also scored at least 32 fantasy points in 4 of his last 5 games and shouldn't have any issues against a Dallas team that owns a 24th OPRK against opposing point guards.
Daniel Gafford, C. Dal, $5,400 DraftKings, $7,100 FanDuel. We don't want to use Gafford on FanDuel, but he's a bargain on DraftKings at just $5,400. This guy was $7,000 on both sites when he played for Washington, but his limited role with Dallas dropped his price.
His workload is on the uptick now, though, scoring at least 35 DK points in 4 of his last 5 fixtures. That's bad news for San Antonio, sitting 27th in total defense while surrendering the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing centers.
Kyle Anderson, SF, PF, Min, $5,400 DraftKings, $6,000 FanDuel. We just discussed how short-handed this Minnesota roster is right now, and it should force Carr into a prominent role. This stat stuffer was a stud as a starter last year, averaging over 30 DK points per game in that role.
We've only seen glimpses of that, but the T-Wolves need him to step up, as so many players are missing. The injuries have led to Anderson scoring at least 26 fantasy points in 3 consecutive outings, which will likely continue for the remainder of the regular season.
Advantageous pricing. Victor Wembanyama, PF, C. SAS, $10,600 DraftKings, $11,400 FanDuel. Amen Thompson, SG, SF. How? $5,900 DraftKings, $7,800 FanDuel. Daniel Gafford, C. Dal, $5,400 DraftKings, $7,100 FanDuel. Justin Champagne, SG, SF. Was $4,200 DraftKings, $5,200 FanDuel. Grant Williams, SF, PF. Char, $4,900 DraftKings, $5,700 FanDuel. Dennis Smith, PG, SG, BKN, $3,800 DraftKings, $5,300 FanDuel. Jeremy Socken, PG, SF, SAS, $5,800 DraftKings, $6,800 FanDuel Zach Collins, PF, C, SAS, $4,500 DraftKings, $6,200 FanDuel.